Hey guys, and welcome back. We are going to be watching another duty-filled reality show. Today we're going to be watching Happily Ever After Season 8, Part 1 of the tell-all. Now, I know I haven't been talking about this show at all really, except for my one Big Ed and Liz video, if you guys haven't seen that. It is a mini deep dive on Ed's time with 90 Day Fiancé. But the reason I haven't been talking about this season is honestly because it was just so long and so boring. Like, I could sum up each relationship's drama in the show in like one sentence. It was just the same stuff over and over again. And honestly, halfway through the season, I just stopped watching it. I started watching other people recap it. It was boring, but I was so excited for this tell-all because they put in a little twist. They put all the couples in a house so they'll be living with each other, and we already know some of these people have drama with each other, so it was good. It was really good, and I'm so excited for the next part. Also, the tell-alls are always just so good, but this one was especially good. So as we go along through the show and we get to each couple, I will tell you a little bit of the drama that they experienced while they were on the show, just so you kind of get the backstory of each one of them. So the first couple we get to see drive on to the house is Thais and Patrick. And all the drama that they had on the show is basically just Patrick meeting Thais' dad. In the previous seasons when they first were on and in the process of getting married, Thais didn't even tell her dad that she was coming down here to marry Patrick. So that's just been the same drama this whole time that they've been on the show, really. But this season, Patrick got to meet Thais' dad. That was about it. The next couple we get is Gino and Jasmine. And Jeebus. They probably had the most drama in this season. It's pretty much been kind of the same drama where Jasmine is upset that Gino isn't being intimate with him, and Gino is upset because she keeps yelling at him and that's why he's not being intimate with her. But then we end up finding a little bit more about Gino, that he apparently has a corn addiction, and they actually speak about that later in the show, and oh my gosh, the gas I gasped when I heard her say what he was doing. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we'll get to that part. And then also they had drama about when Jasmine came down here. Apparently Gino didn't include her kids in the visa. So they have to start this whole new process. And Gino was being tight with his money for some reason for paying the lawyer to get her kids over. But then he went and spent thousands of dollars on a pageant. So I don't know about that. That was really weird, but that was their thing in the show. But like I said, we get to see them pull up to the mansion. Thais and Patrick is already there, so they have their cute little introduction meeting each other. And before we even get into this awkward conversation that they had with each other, I just want to point out Jasmine came in with her Miss Latina badge or sash. That is weird. I don't know if that's like a thing that you do once you win a beauty pageant, but like I felt like it was just a weird place to show up with it. I don't know why she did that. So when Gino, Jasmine, Thais, and Patrick all get together, they find out that Thais and Patrick got the first pick of the rooms, because of course they were there first, and they picked the biggest room. Jasmine seemed a little bit upset about that. Not too bad. I just wanted to point it out because she said that she felt like she should have had basically dibs because she has a miserable marriage, a miserable life, and just lives in a miserable place. It's like,
what Thais and Patrick? I mean, give it to the rest of us who have a miserable marriage and live in a miserable place, a miserable life.
Dang, she is miserable. So Patrick and Thais help Gino and Jasmine around the house to pick their room. And while they're in the middle of that, Jasmine tells Gino that he better go and hurry up and find his own room, which spirals into the conversation of them saying that they haven't been sleeping in the same room for a long time. And I know if I was Thais, I would be so like uncomfortable, like like we just got here. They haven't been there for more than like 10 minutes and they're already spilling the beans. I mean, I get it, but Yeah, it was just awkward. But thankfully, Kobe and Emily come to save the day. Now, Kobe and Emily's drama in the show I felt was pretty fabricated. Like, they were just bringing up drama just to bring it up. I honestly feel like they have a pretty solid relationship. But basically, in the show, all the drama was that Kobe and Emily went to Cameroon, had a little troubles with the friends a little bit, and then something about an ex-girlfriend, which I feel was just like brought up for no, like, it was just dumb fabricated drama. It just didn't feel real to me. But anyway, back into the present. Thankfully, Kobe and Emily save Thais and Patrick from the uncomfortable conversation that Gino and Jasmine are putting them through. And I know Emily was pregnant, but she is pregnant here. She apparently is about to pop. She's only a month away from her due date, which is amazing that she's here. The next couple we get is Manuel and Ashley. They actually pull up the same time as Emily and Kobe. But Ashley and Manuel's drama in the show has been the same thing since the very beginning. Manuel has just been secretive, just same old stuff. And now the next person we get in is Liz. And notice I said person and not couple. That's because Liz and Ed actually showed up separately, which, thank God. We all already know now that she's supposedly married to her new guy. But we all know Liz and Ed's drama in the show is that Ed canceled their wedding without even telling her. So it was pretty much just them breaking up, her trying to move out, and Ed just showing how much of a disgusting little weasel he is. So Liz struts herself straight into that house, and everybody is so excited to see her. And on top of that, they're so happy to see her without Ed. And when she came in, everybody's like, "Oh, you look so good." And she said, "Yeah, I lost 230 pounds. At first, that went right over my head. I was like, there's no way that she was like 400, like she didn't even look like she could even be 200 pounds. So I was like, what is she talking about? But then after a couple of seconds, I was like, oh, she's talking about Ed. We've seen it before, the last time they broke up, and it was for a hot second in between. She looked so much better, like she just brightened up. Now this is where we find out that Liz and Ed actually haven't spoken or seen each other in a whole 6 months, so they have had separation like a mug. So Liz should be over this and Ed should be over this. Let me tell you, this interaction that they have, they probably shouldn't have been drinking that night because it was weird. Now it's time for Ed to make his way into the home, and he goes around the circle a little bit, gives some of the guys hugs, and makes his way to Liz. And this interaction, man, Jasmine's face in the background says it all. So Liz and Ed start hugging, and let me tell you, I don't know if you guys understand what I mean by passionate hug, but you know, there's like, oh, like a little side hug or a friend hug. No, they were like embracing each other for a hot minute, to the point where the whole room got quiet.
That's awkward. Un besito. Yay.
They pull away, and Liz is like, did you grow? And he's already over there teary-eyed, and I'm like, boy, if you don't get... Oh, here we go. I swear. Ed must have been practicing this in the mirror or something. And then as he's crying and these tears are falling down, Liz starts wiping him off his face like, oh, baby, did you grow? Nope. And then eventually he snaps out of whatever he was in and then starts introducing himself to the rest of everybody. And then he gets to Jasmine and she's like, hi, I don't do hugs. And then gives him a handshake.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I don't like hugging.
Okay, all right, good. I don't either. All right.
Yes.
There you go.
You should give me a hug.
After he said it, the whole room was still quiet. Like nobody was laughing. It was like, why do you keep saying stuff? Like, he said a couple things earlier too. It wasn't too crazy, but like, I feel like it was just gradually building inside of me. And I was like, please, somebody strangle this guy. Thankfully, Ashley's vibrant self breaks the thickness and is like, hey, we have a bar over there. You want something to drink? Also, these tortilla chips that they're eating, the on the border chips, oh my gosh, they are so good. I love tortilla chips just by themselves, but These ones, like the cantina style ones, or like the real thin ones, they're just so good. Anyway, so now that everybody's a little bit stirred up, Liz, Ashley, and Emily go off to the side to the bar. Ashley was about to ask Liz about the tea, but of course Ed had to waddle his way over to Liz. This part kind of cracked me up a little bit. Ashley pours them all shots and she gives Ed a shot, and I don't know, the shot didn't seem too big to me, but when he took it, he started like choking, and then he was like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a lot. You got it, Ed? You okay?
Oh my God.
You okay? Do you need something?
Oh, that was good.
Boy, if you don't get... Bro, quit it. You better go get you a little chaser or something. But after Ashley and Emily kind of scoot off to the side, of course, Ed, he started talking about himself, saying how he had some sickness, but it wasn't really sickness, and it was allergies, and not missing San Diego, and yada, 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 yada. And even Liz cut him off and was like, so it's the same thing. It's always about you. You're not going to ask me how I am. Not going to say, oh, you look great. So it's like, this guy hasn't changed at all. But then the conversation, while she was saying all this, started turning a little like flirtatious in a way, and they started like cheekily smiling at each other, which, Liz, what is your problem? But then that leads into Ed being like,
I miss you. I do miss you.
that starts making her teary-eyed, and basically she just said that it's weird because she had all this like animosity built up towards him, but then now that she's around him, it's like the old times, and oh, they can just be like cute with each other. I don't even know where she was getting at, but then you start to see him push out some tears, and then he tries to apologize, and then she's like, don't do that. This whole scene was just like, this is just two drunk, dramatic people. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was like, you guys, I guess two drunk, toxic, dramatic people, because they feed off of each other's energy in some weird way, and it's just like, you guys gotta leave each other alone. You just have to. And then off to the side, people are seeing all this, and Jasmine brings up that she thinks these are just crocodile tears. And again, we get another Patrick inputting just his words. I don't even know what he's trying to do.
He crying? Is it crocodile, like crocodile tears, or he's being genuine?
What's crocodile tears?
Are you done? I know he knows what crocodile tears are, and especially with that little smirk after the he just kept making me so goddamn mad during this episode. But yeah, Jasmine just brings up the fact that Ed looks like he's faking it. He's not really caring. He's like not actually crying. Now, after all the couples have been hanging out for a long time, Alexi and Lauren pop out of nowhere. Like they're kind of late. Basically, Lauren and Alexi's storyline in the season was that Lauren went to go get some surgery, and Alexi, for some reason, couldn't take care of the kids. He was complaining that he had to work and then come home and take care of his kids. Like, there aren't single moms and single dads out there doing that every single day of their life. Like, what? Anyway. But they get there and they kind of mix up the house a little bit, and Ed and Liz again. But Alex and Lauren get there, and Liz ends up calling Ed baby.
Yeah, we're in it. Oh, baby, are you ready? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to call you that.
What'd you call me?
I accidentally called you baby.
They did not need to be drinking. You guys haven't been talking in 6 months, and that just slips out. I don't know. Now, pretty quickly after Lauren and Alexi arrive, Rob and Sophie start to pull up to the house. And their drama in the show has been the same drama since the very beginning of us seeing them. Rob has been online cheating. Sophie is insecure with him and doesn't trust him. And at this point, it's like, why are you guys even still together? And then also all the drama on the outside of the show. I don't know if you guys keep up with these people on the outside, but Rob, the way he screams at Sophie and the things that he says to her. And then also her mom threatened her one time, which was like The whole storyline of them on the outside is wild. But anyway, they're arriving to the house and Rob is saying like he thinks people are going to be surprised that they show up together, which for me, I wasn't surprised, honestly. I felt like they were going to arrive together or they were still going to be together in some way. But while Rob is doing all the talking, Sophie just looks so miserable. Like, she does not like she wants to be in the same car, in the same environment or anything as him. And it's just like, I don't know what she's holding on to, really. Then again, she is pretty young, so, and this is probably her first love, and she did get married to this guy, so yeah, it's gotta be hard. As they arrive to the house and they're about to walk in, Sophie actually tells Rob to give her a second outside because she has an anxiety, and Rob kind of tries to get her to come in with him, but he doesn't push it too much. He eventually just goes in on, which kind of makes it look like they arrived at different times, and I don't know if she did that on purpose or if she truly just did need a moment to herself. But while she was out there, she did get to have a little interview. Basically, she said that her and Rob, they're in a weird place. They're like not together, but they still are like hanging out, and pretty sure they're still married. I don't know. The situation is weird. We don't know what's going on. So now that Sophie and Rob are there, they go and of course get themselves a drink, and Kobe and Alexi start chatting with them, and let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Kobe asks them if they're still being intimate, and they both kind of look at each other and they're like, you answer it. No, you answer it. And finally, we get to the conclusion that they haven't been intimate in 6+ months. I kind of feel like they may have been, but I don't know also why they would lie about that. And then also all the other stuff going on the outside of the house, it could be very true. So it's like, that's a long time. Like, have they even been married for a year or two? Like, that's basically most of your marriage right there. But now that everybody's at the house, except for one couple, Angela and Michael, people are starting to question, like, hey, we're missing somebody, we're missing some people. And they finally get the producers or whoever to call Angela and Michael and see where the heck they are. And of course, they're not there tonight. And people start speculating that Angela is up to this because she doesn't want Michael to tell his side of the story. They feel like Angela, since she's been the only one here, has been able to tell her side. But since Michael hasn't been here, he hasn't been in America, he hasn't really been in the tell-all or anything, he hasn't been able to speak his truth, and they think Angela is trying to hide that. And honestly, I think they're right. And that's that for that night. They all go to sleep, and the next day they have the tell-all. Now it's the morning of the tell-all, and you know they always have that little part where you get to see them getting ready, conversating with each other, having like the backroom time. So we see all of them come in, and already Gino and Jasmine are in some kind of argument. Apparently, Jasmine was in the bathroom at the house trying to get dressed. Gino was trying to also get dressed, but Jasmine was like, no, I don't want you seeing me naked, so get out. But Gino was like, no, you're being selfish. Of course, just turns into an all-out fight, screaming at each other. Same story, same thing we always see, just them not agreeing with each other, wanting to do the same thing, and then it just turns into a yelling match. But honestly, on this argument, I'm siding with Jasmine. Like, if she doesn't want you to see her naked and she's feeling uncomfortable around you, just step out of the room or go use another room. I'm sure there's a bathroom somewhere that's not inside of a room. Like, you had ample space and a mansion to get dressed. Or you could have easily asked somebody else, like, can I use your room? My wife is tripping. Like, he put that one upon himself. I do want to dive into this Gino and Jasmine conversation really quick. Well, not the conversation that we were having, but the one I'm about to bring up. I watch a lot of other YouTubers do recaps and reactions on 90 Day Fiancé, and a lot of them are really split. But for the most part, a lot of people just call Jasmine crazy and just write it off as that. I'm not here to say that Jasmine is not crazy. I know she's crazy. Like, the yelling and the screaming and everything, she could definitely tone it down. And some of the things she's done, like took her wedding dress money and spent it on her butt. Not okay. I understand that. But people tend to forget that in the beginning of Gino and Jasmine's story, Gino was doing disgusting things. Was even sending her nudes to other women to like brag about something. But people, I feel like, kind of forgot about that, and they kind of come into Gino's defense events a lot more because Jasmine reacts. She outwardly, you're able to see her freak out, where I feel like Gino probably does sneaky rat stuff behind the scenes. Like the whole thing with her saying, give me my passport and things like that. Why are you controlling me? Just because she's screaming it, people are just seeing her screaming instead of listening to what she's saying. And it sounds like Gino is very controlling. He threatens her all the time to basically go back to her country. Like he's kind of just holding something over her head and then refusing to bring her kids here because he doesn't know if she, like, in my opinion, yeah, Jasmine she needs to tone it down. She needs to figure out how to communicate better. But even later on in the tell-all, his cousins say something about him that I'm like, okay, I know I'm not tripping. Like, I know it's not just me just being grossed out by Gino. But anyway, back into the show. Like I said, Gino and Jasmine come in. They're arguing about Gino trying to get dressed, but Jasmine didn't want him in there. But they arrive there, and of course, they should have had the same, like, dressing room. Of course, Jasmine still doesn't want him to see her naked because it's literally the same day. So she's freaking out, telling Gino to, like, get out or go somewhere else. And he's like, no, I must stay here. But to just stop all the fighting, Emily comes out and is like, Jasmine, do you want to come share a room with me? And Jasmine just runs into her arms and starts crying, and it's just like a whole show on its own. But after all that drama and all that stuff going on, everybody's kind of just sitting around talking about Angela and Michael and wondering, like, where the heck are they? Are they even going to show up? Some people feel like they're not going to show up because Angela doesn't want Michael to speak whatsoever. But then thankfully, while they're all sitting in the room, Michael pops in, and it's like, oh, thank you. Obviously, we already know Michael was gonna be on the tell-all because of the trailer for the reunion or whatever, but it was like, I kind of felt relieved for the cast members. Like, I know they wanted to see them. So once he comes in, everybody's questioning him, like, where were you guys last night? Like, are you guys not gonna stay with us in the house? And Michael, I feel just so bad for him. He kind of just like is not talking, and he's like, oh, you know, it's just private. I'm not gonna talk about this without my wife. And he's just like very meticulous on like the things that he's saying and how he's saying it, and it's like you can tell he is terrified of Angela, which, I mean, if we really gonna talk about it, like, I see Angela out here fighting people and stuff, and people always talk about how scared they are of her. This lady is 100 years old. Drag this hoe. Like, I do not support violence. I'm not out here fighting at all. But I know if a 100-year-old crypt keeper looking lady started getting in my face, I would drag her. Why is everybody so scared of her? All she is yip yap yip yap. And yeah, you've seen her throw some hands on some videos, but I feel like those people, they didn't want to fight her. They were technically her friends. I don't know. This lady, nobody should be scared of Angela. People need to start speaking up. Anyway, Jesus, I swear this whole tell-all was making me heated and gasping, and it just had me feeling emotions. Like, but thankfully we see Michael. Thankfully. But of course, following Michael is Angela, the Wicked Witch of the South. But she comes in and she's talking about basically just talking crap about Michael, saying how he's a liar, he's a cheater, she doesn't understand why she brought him here. You were with him for years before you even brought him here. So it's like, if the lying and the cheating was getting to you so much, you wouldn't have brought him here in the first place. He spent 7 years going through the visa process and all that with you. At any moment, you could have legitimately stopped it and been like, no, you're just not it. But you used him to be on a TV show. I hear people saying that he used her for a green card, and honestly, that could be true. And some of the things he said in the first season, especially now that I'm like recapping it and rewatching it, I'm like, ooh, that does seem a little that seems a little suspicious. But at the same time, she used him too. She wanted to be on TV so bad. She's been on other reality shows like Maury. She has been wanting to be famous. But she's in the dressing room crying her crocodile tears, and Ed comes to comfort her. And it's just two people that all of us hate in a room, because that's all they have is each other at this point. And she starts, oh, why would he do this to me? He's lying, he's cheating, I can't do it anymore. and basically being like, as much as I love him, I don't trust him, Ed. He's a liar. He's a cheater. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. So it looks like she came to this tell-all to basically try to make it seem like he's been trying to show the world that she's a crazy bitch, but it turns out that he's just manipulative. I don't know what her course is on this tell-all. She basically just wants to show everybody that she's a good, loving Mima, and he's a scamming Nigerian that came here and stole her heart and stole her visa and got into America. It's just crazy all around. And honestly, she ends up making herself look crazy. She did nothing but prove our point that she needed to be kicked off this show, off of TLC, off the planet. We just need to shoot her out into a rocket into space and let her live her grumpy life up there. But after Ed comforts her, I'm gonna just add this little bit in because it was funny to me the way she just
I don't have no one to talk to.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. I feel a little bit better. Thank you.
I don't see it.
Now Michael's in the room and everybody's just so excited and people are asking him questions left and right, and he's still just keeping it quiet, just like he's not saying a word for fear that Angela's gonna come in there and drop kick him. But thankfully he didn't say anything, because she starts to walk in her cheap candy wrapper outfit and her Dollar Tree crown. But she comes in and flaunts her stuff or whatever the hell and sits down and then asks Michael, "Why are you sitting in here?" And Michael goes to answer her, and instead of hearing him out, she cuts him off and said, "I told you not to leave my fucking sack."
Why are you sitting here?
Because I have to.
I said, and I don't mean to be rude, guys, you don't get out my sight.
I was gonna say, he's not a dog, he's not a kid, but you wouldn't even speak to a dog or a kid that way. Like, what is wrong with you? First of all, he is a grown ass man. He can go where the hell he wants to go. Like, and even if you were his like watcher, overseer, or whatever, why are you saying it like that? Like, ew. So everybody's now sitting back and watching her. Like, you are not proving to the world that Michael is in the wrong at all. But from there, it just keeps escalating. Angela starts screaming about how Michael has been sleeping in the living room, hasn't been having sex with his wife. But a producer comes in and just stops it, and he's like, hold on. Let's just get on to set. Let's get out of here. So now they finally all gathered up on the stage, and our host, Sean Robinson, finally gets on there and just gets right into it. In the beginning, they go ahead and just recap what happened in the house, just mostly asking about everybody's intimate life, which I don't know why they always have to nail so hard into that. I guess in a relationship that is pretty important, but it's like they bring it up a lot. Like, mind your own dang business. At this point, they just need to be asking them what positions are they doing, because they are nosy. But the first couple they start to go over is Ed and Liz, and they hop right into Ed and his dating life. What is he doing? And this guy just talks about how, oh, he's not dating, he's being by himself, and he actually started going to church, and he's an usher there, and he's just a holy, godly, conservative man. But then Liz drops the bomb. She drops it big. She said after a month after them breaking up, he was already on dating apps. After a month? Like, you guys are about to just get married. That's wild. But of course, Ed had to defend himself and basically was trying to say how, like, he wasn't on there to be dating. It's just because Arkansas is so boring and there's nothing else to do.
You were on a dating app within 1 month of me leaving. You said that you wanted time to work on yourself. You wanted time to not date. Why were you so quick to jump on a dating app?
Well, because I'm in Arkansas and there's nobody. Like, there, Liz, there's nothing to do there.
So what are you doing on the apps? None of it made sense. He just, of course, was just trying to defend himself, as he always does. So that leads into Sean going ahead and showing everybody the clip of Ed breaking off their wedding and not even telling her. And after showing that clip, they go straight into it. And Ed decides he wants to tell the whole story. And he's trying to paint this picture of Liz just has a horrible, terrible temper. But this is what the story was on his side. He makes taco pasta. The infamous taco pasta. And apparently Riley says, "Hey mom, this is too hot." She goes over there, picks out a bell pepper, and is like, "This is a jalapeno." And he's like, "No, that's a bell pepper." And she's like, "No, this is a jalapeno." And starts going crazy, which doesn't make sense to me. When I say I know Big Ed, obviously I don't know him, but seeing these episodes and seeing how their fights always break down, there was more in between there. Ed had to have been like poking at her or saying something, or for that whole day he might have just been being a douchebag or something. I'm not believing that story. I'm sure the fight broke out over pepper and jalapeno, but there had to have been more stuff in between there. There had to have been. And then he goes on to say that Liz broke out in a temper in front of his family and he just couldn't do it anymore. He said that he was hiding her temper from his family for 6 months and it finally unleashed and he was embarrassed. And he just keeps going in on Liz. And finally, somebody speaks up. And it's Ashley. Earlier, he was saying how it takes 2 to make a relationship and 2 to break a relationship. And so she brings that up. She's like, why do you keep saying what she did? What was her fault? Why aren't you saying what you did? What was your side? Like, you obviously had to do something. You just said it takes 2 to make and break a relationship. So what is your side? But we all know Ed, he's never going to admit to doing anything wrong. So he keeps just deflecting onto Liz. And then, also, he said the whole reason they broke up 15, 16, 100 billion times is because of her. It was her fault and her temper.
Okay, you guys wonder why we broke up 15, 16 different times? It's because of her temper. That's why I called off the wedding, not because of taco pasta.
Right.
Then why did you keep getting back with her 15, 16, a million times? Like, when are you going to own up to it, little buddy? So after all of this, Sean brings up the small little bit of her not wanting to meet him at the bar when they were having their conversation about finally splitting after him canceling the wedding. During that time, Liz said that meeting at the bar was inappropriate, which understandable. You probably should be doing this probably like at home or something. And I also think at the time she had Riley with her, so it was really inappropriate. But apparently there was more to it. Liz apparently did meet him at first, and when she got there was a girl hanging all over him, and so she left. And this weaselly little man, you guys, this weasel of a man, they start to question who this woman is, and he says he didn't know who she was. In fact, he had 3 girls hanging all over him.
Who was the woman, Ed?
First of all, there are 3 women.
Also, he was begging me to come meet him.
There are 3 women hanging all over me. I did not even realize it.
I know you fucking lying, bitch.
So you had 3 random women hanging all over you and you didn't know who it was. And then he also said he didn't even notice that they were on him.
Stop the cap.
You're half of the size of a jelly bean and you didn't notice that 3 grown women were hanging all over you? Where were you in your freaking transic state of being a leprechaun again? Like, everybody is just like, you know what? It's a blessing you're not with this guy anymore, because what the heck? Like, everybody's so happy that they're not together anymore. Like, Ed and Angela both came to the tell-all to try to show America that they were just honest, kind, loving Americans, and they ruined it. Like, both of them don't look any better than they did than the last year or the year before. They just keep making themselves look even worse. But then the next clip that they show, guys, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that he said this. Out of all people, he can't talk about anybody's parenting skills at all. His own daughter don't even fuck with him like that. So they show the clip where Liz and her mom come to the house. The house is disgusting, so they start cleaning and she's trying to pack her stuff and go. Liz's mom is like, hey, maybe you should have been a better man. And this guy,
well, maybe you should have been a man.
Well, maybe you should have done a better job raising your daughter.
Oh, I did a fantastic job raising my daughter. That's why
you
you're
sure
out.
have.
Get out of our face, Ed. Please let us pass.
That's why you abandoned her.
Get out.
dang, dude. If you guys don't know, when Liz was younger, her grandparents raised her because her mom was off living her life. I don't know what she was doing. She was doing her thing. But when I heard that, when I saw that episode, I didn't even know what to say, and I still don't even know what to say. Like, that is crazy and just awful to bring up, especially now that Liz and her mom are trying to build that relationship, which that kind of backfired on him because then Liz outs that he has a small thing. Which I don't think she really even had to say anything. I think we all knew that. He definitely gives small P energy, for sure.
Go back to your trashy friends in San Diego and be a bartender for the rest of your life.
Okay. He's got a small penis. There we go.
Oh,
After showing this clip, they decide to bring Liz's mom out, and honestly, I kind of feel like Liz's mom kind of messed up the argument that Liz has a temper, because her mom started kind of getting heated, and I was like, I'm sure Liz has a temper, but we all know obviously Ed is the one that provokes her. So, but still, just her mom just started like yelling at Ed, and of course it's because Ed is saying some stupid stuff and provoking her, but it's like, calm down, lady, just a little bit.
Emotional problems.
I did not say she had emotional problems.
You did tell me she had a really bad temper.
No.
And I wish you the best of luck.
No. I did
We
not
said
say,
that
don't you dare sit there and lie.
We said this.
I did not say that.
But the whole story everybody's trying to teach Ed is that the way he talks to women is not okay. The way he is who he is is just not okay, and he just does not want to hear it at all. He thinks he is the perfect Christian conservative man. This leads Angela to say that she feels like Liz is still in love with Ed, and some people start agreeing. And Liz says that she will never deny the love that she had for Ed. She will never regret that she loved Ed, but she has moved on. She has found somebody else, and we all know it's Jason. And she starts crying, saying that the guy that she has now, Jason, is so supportive and just lets her be who she wants to be, and even said that he supports her coming here so she can finally get closure with Ed. And she just breaks down about it, obviously in a happy way. She's just happy that she's in a beautiful relationship. And then all of a sudden, which I did not expect this, they brought out Jason. Jason is here. So they bring him out. She's crying. They hug, they kiss, and I thought it was just so sweet, and just a nice little dig into Ed. Now, once Jason and Liz are all sat down, they get right into what Ed has been saying that Liz has a problem in, is her temper. So they ask Jason, like, have you seen that temper? Has that been brought up? And he says that they've only had 2 fights in the time that they've been together, and it's been pretty, like, okay. Like, they just have a conversation like adults, and then they go on about their day. And after he says all this, Ed is basically just trying to be like, hey, don't sweep her temper under the rug. There is something wrong with her, so don't overlook it. And Jason goes in on him.
Listen to me, man to man.
I don't know about man to man, but go ahead, talk.
How are you different from Ed?
Physically or which?
I don't know why I felt this way. Because honestly, anybody that is willing to stand up to Ed or Angela and just kind of dig into them, I'm like, yes. But at the same time, the way he was talking, it felt like, And I think it was because in the back of my mind, I was thinking about the allegations of him cheating on his girlfriend to be with Liz. So I was already looking at him kind of like, you're not it either. Obviously, I don't know the whole story. The allegations are allegations, but with the evidence, it's kind of like hard not to look at it. But yeah, he was going in on Ed. What he was saying, I was like, yes. But again, those thoughts in my mind, I was like, ew. But when Ed was basically telling him not to overlook Liz's temper, this part made me so angry. I wanted to jump through the dang screen.
Forget about it. Move on. She found someone else.
Yeah.
Let her be.
Yeah.
Don't say anything again. Nothing but or anything.
Oh, shut
Let
up.
it go.
Shut the
It's
up.
as simple as that.
Shut the up.
So disrespectful. That shit got me so hot.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Again, don't support violence, but I felt violence in my body. There's something wrong with that lady. And then after all that, of course, Sean had to ask them about their intimacy life. That she asks her if he has a bigger peen, and she didn't go into that, but she was like, it is nice, it is good. It looked like he was actually about to for real cry right there. Like that was the first time I saw him look like he was actually about to cry. And then Sean asks Liz's mom how she feels about Jason, and she basically just says how Jason is better in every way than Ed, and then tells Ed that he's gonna go to purgatory hell, and that she wishes no ill will on him, but he's going to hell. But But she's like, yeah, I don't hate you. I just don't like you. I wish no ill will on you, but you're going to purgatory hell. And that was her outro. Her and Jason walk off the stage, and that was that. And that was the end of Ed and Liz's segment, and hopefully the end of their relationship forever. Now the next couple we move on to is Gino and Jasmine, and they get right into it, asking how their relationship is. And Jasmine says that she does not feel like she's loved. She does not feel love in this relationship. And Gino says that he does still love her, and she's just like, no, I just don't feel it. And she explains how he's very controlling, and it's just what about Gino wants. And we even saw it in the show how like she had troubles just him taking her to the gym. Just the gym. It's crazy because he quit his job to be able to help her do things like that and to be able to adjust here in America. He had no job. He had nothing to do, like, at all. So we find out he's just been sitting around just doing Gino things, playing fantasy football and stuff. So apparently she's just been having troubles with him being very controlling, and obviously still the intimacy thing. And he says it's because she keeps yelling at him. It's just a big cycle of her yelling at him, and he doesn't want to be intimate with her, which makes her upset, so she yells at him, and so he doesn't want to be intimate with her, and like it's just a cycle. But then Jasmine tells us that she even had troubles trying to get her driver's license with him, that he wouldn't even take her to take it or like help her fill out any paperwork or anything, that she ended up having to ask a friend to take her. And thankfully she passed her test, and hopefully she has a car now. Well, let me break away from this tell-all really quick. Again, I don't know if you guys followed them outside of the show, but Jasmine has a new man. She and Gino are no longer together. She is dating this gym bro that she found, so I'm sure she's off over there living her best life now. But yeah, so she went out and got a driver's license. No thanks to Gino. I go in to ask him about has he filed the adjustment of status so she can get her kids over here. And thankfully, he finally has. It's processing now. But then we find out it took him 7 whole months just to even start it. So she couldn't even work. She couldn't get her green card, anything like that. Like she couldn't get her kids down here for a whole 7 months. He didn't do anything. Like he just sat around. And it's like, again, he didn't have a job. He specifically quit his job to help her, and then he didn't help her. So it's like, oh my goodness. But then they ask him kind of why it took him so long to file the paperwork, and then he goes in to say that if they were going to continue to argue and their relationship wasn't going to work, he didn't want to file the green card status. So why did you bring her here? Like, if you weren't sure yet that you wanted her to move down here and be with you and you guys live your life forever, why did you do all of this? Like, even the other cast members ask him the same thing. Like, why would you bring her here? And it's just so snot-nosed face of you to hold her green card over her head, because now you know she can't do anything without you making moves. Like, she's incapable of doing most things without him filing that stuff and going through with the process. So now he basically just outed himself, saying that he's holding her green card over her head because he wasn't sure if she going to stick around or was right for him or whatever the case was. It's just that right there really did show me that Gino is definitely doing stuff behind the scenes off the camera. I can't remember where I read or saw this, but I saw some speculations of people saying that they feel like Gino might be poking and provoking Jasmine off camera to make her burst and yell, because he knows that she will do it regardless if the cameras are there or not. She is unapologetically herself, so she will straight lash out on him in front of the cameras. And I kind of feel like that might be true a little bit, because it's like anytime it happens, he like seems like, oh my god, Jasmine, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like, whatever, you rat-tailed dude. Like, man, I know Jasmine is crazy. She has her faults, but there is just something about Gino that is just so But thankfully, they actually bring out Gino's cousins from the show. And I'm so glad that they did, because they finally ousted Gino. They immediately start asking them about how like their communication is. And they straight up say Jasmine is a good communicator.
You lying?
I'm sure they're probably talking about outside of the screaming fits and stuff like that. But I've even seen it a couple of times, especially in this last season, her just straight up being like, I need my kids here. I need this. I need to go to the gym. I need these things. And he's just like, nope, I'm not doing that, Jasmine. So they just outed their cousin like that. That's family. And they were still like, we're throwing you under the bus because it's about time. So they straight up say that Gino is just so wrapped up in his own self that he only has one point of view. And if you don't agree with him, then it's just whatever for you. It's his way or the highway. And with Jasmine depending on him for so many things without her green card, she's kind of getting F right now from him because he's just like holding everything over her head, controlling the situation, and it's not looking good for him. And Shauna even asks him like, are you working? And he brings up no, that they're not working. And then this somehow leads into the intimacy conversation. Again, everybody's got to talk about their intimate life. He basically just says the same thing he's always been saying, that he's not intimate with her because she yells and screams and they constantly fight. And then his cousins even said that they've tried talking to him about it and try to tell him like Jasmine is like moving forward, like she's not screaming as much, try to put that in the past and just be intimate with your dang wife. And then his other cousin brings up like, have you never heard of makeup schmecks? Like, have you never done that? And he's like, no, I'm just not like that. I don't do things like that. Makeup schmecks, what is that? So there's just no getting to this guy. And then Jasmine brings up that she feels like Gino is just actively avoiding being intimate with her. That anytime they're having a good time, all of a sudden Gino just flip-flops and somehow causes an argument. And then is like, well, now I can't be intimate with you, Jasmine. And this starts to lead into something that she has been talking about the whole season. And like I said earlier, the gasp, I gasped when I found this out. Oh my goodness. And then this goes into her saying something else that also made me gaspy gasp. Two things. She said that it's been such a problem and that she's never seen Gino fully naked. Huh? They've been together for years and she's never seen Gino fully naked?
I have never seen you completely naked, Gino. Never. He will get like an underwear in front of me and something beyond that lies off.
Apparently he can take off the hat, so you should be able to take off everything else, right? And this starts rolling into Sean saying that we all know there's a deeper issue. During the season, Jasmine and Gino had a fight about the real reason he doesn't want to be intimate with her. And she puts him on blast that he has a corn addiction, that he is constantly looking at it, that he's constantly having to, finish with it. Like he can't finish with her, he has to go to the bathroom and do it, and he doesn't want to come to terms with it, or he's basically just denying it up and down. But Jasmine says that no, it's true, even to the point that before she even gets home from like the gym or something, she has to take precautions before she comes into the house. I don't know, the way he's kind of trying to deny it, like he's denied everything else, I believe her. But then this was the point where like I was like, whoa. And they even ended it here too. And I was like, I'm so glad they at least told us what she was talking about. But anyway, he's trying to deny it. And she goes into, why don't you tell them what you've been looking at? Why don't you tell them what you've been searching, what you've been watching?
Before me, he had like sugar baby.
Side chick.
Yes.
Call her up when he's
a
wanting
person that will date him because he was paying her. Okay, to put it that way. And he was looking at her videos.
And
the person he was dating back then, it wasn't just a random person. It was somebody that was his sugar baby at one point. I was shocked. Even he just sat there like, oh, like he knew he fucked up. Like, he knew he fucked up.
Why would you looking at her?
And that's where they end it. Like I said, thankfully they told us what Gino was looking at, because I would have been pulling my hair out all week. But dang, dude, I don't know why I didn't expect that, as Weasley as he is. Man, like, oh my goodness, this was a roller coaster. But let's take a look at next week's episode. It looks like we get to see a little bit of Angela and Michael. Of course, it's just Angela threatening Michael some more. I can't wait till we don't see her again. And then we get Kobe and Michael. Hopefully start like a bromance show or something. We get Kobe and Emily, and they just bring up the random drama that they put into the show. Something about him still being in love with his ex-girlfriend. I guess apparently when he got with Emily, he was still dating somebody else. I don't know, just again, I feel like it was just some fabricated drama just to, you know, give them something on the show. And we get Lauren dogging Ed out straight to his face. Thankfully. But then again, I don't think that really would do anything for Ed. Ed is just... he's just Ed. Like, no matter what anybody says to him, he thinks he's hot shit. And then we see that Angela and Michael actually stay in the house with everybody, and it goes sideways. It looks like Angela is about to attack. She is in attack mode. So somebody help Michael. Somebody get him out of there. That was the end of this part of the tell-all, and I'm so excited to see the next part. Like, oh my goodness. I left out a lot of little tidbits here and there, like I said, about the Patrick's little remarks and stuff. There was just, this episode was an hour and a half long, and if I kept talking about every single little thing, my video would be an hour and a half long. So I had to cut some things here and there. But I did want to bring up, there was one couple that didn't show up that I totally forgot about until Sean said something. Do you guys remember what couple was supposed to be here? Well, for you guys who forgot, Mahmoud and Nicole was on this show. I totally forgot about them. They were on what, like 3-4 episodes or something like that. I honestly totally forgot about them. And I think they're divorced or something now. Like they're not together anymore, thankfully, because Nicole was a wingbat. I don't know what was wrong with her, but yeah, I totally forgot about them up until Sean said something. But thank you guys for coming and watching. As always, I appreciate you guys placing your eyeballs on this pile of duty. If you guys would like to see Ed, Angela, and Gino all in a room and just duke it out amongst themselves for the rest of their lives, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. We might just get it. But again, thank you for coming and watching. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.